Ever think about what you'd do if you suddenly had to pack up and leave everything behind?
Oh, absolutely. It's a thought that's crossed my mind more than a few times, especially with all the uncertainty in the world these days.
Right. Well, that's the reality for so many people in Myanmar right now. And it's actually having this fascinating impact on the real estate market over in Thailand.
Really? What's going on?
Well, we're diving into this stack of articles today. We've got stuff from the Bangkok Post, the Straits Times, all sorts of sources, and they're all saying the same thing. People from Myanmar are buying up property in Thailand like crazy.
Huh. That's interesting. I guess when you've got to get out, you've got to go somewhere, right? But why Thailand?
Exactly. That's what we're going to try to figure out in this deep dive. We want to understand why this is happening, what it means for both countries, the whole picture.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what's behind this trend. I mean, we know things in Myanmar haven't been great since the coup back in 2021.
It's been a rough few years, no doubt. And the economy over there is, well, the World Bank is saying it's probably only going to grow like 1% this year.
Oof, that's rough. Not exactly a recipe for stability.
Yeah, not at all. And one of the articles mentioned that the kyat, the Myanmar currency, has lost something like a crazy 60% of its value since the military took over.
Wow, so just imagine trying to make ends meet when your money is worth less than half of what it used to be. It's no wonder people are looking for a way out.
Yeah, it's like their savings are just evaporating. And for those who have the means, it seems like investing in a more stable place like Thailand starts to look pretty appealing.
Makes sense. And historically, Thailand has been a pretty popular spot for investors, especially when things get a little shaky in the region, right?
Absolutely. In fact, the Real Estate Information Center, the REIC, even called it out specifically. And what we're seeing now is not just a trickle of investment, it's a flood.
Really? How much are we talking?
Condo sales to people from Myanmar have tripled in the first 9 months of this year compared to last year. Can you believe that? Tripled.
Triple. Wow. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, over 1,000 units sold, something like 5.46 billion baht total. They're actually the second largest group of foreign buyers now, just behind the Chinese.
And ahead of the Russians, right? Because I remember reading that investment from China and Russia had actually slowed down.
Right, you're exactly right. So it's not just a general upswing in the market. It's really specifically people from Myanmar.
Yeah, this is clearly tied to what's happening over there, it seems like, more than just regular market forces.
Totally. And it gets even more interesting when you look at what kind of properties they're buying. It's not just like little starter apartments.
Oh, so they're going for like the high-end stuff.
Yeah, larger condos, often in places like Bangkok and Chiang Mai. We're talking places priced between like U.S. $145,000 and U.S. $350,000.
Right. Huh. So this is not just a temporary move, maybe? I mean, that suggests to me that they're thinking long-term, like they might actually want to live there someday.
It's definitely a possibility, given how things are looking back in Myanmar. It's kind of sad, but it also makes you think about how resilient people can be.
Definitely. Having to start over in a new country is a huge decision, and it's not one people take lightly.
Absolutely. And all this investment is having a pretty noticeable impact on Thailand's real estate scene, too. Like overall, their market is in a bit of a downturn right now, but this influx from Myanmar is keeping things a little brighter in some spots.
So it's a bit of a mixed bag, huh? Like, this investment is good for the Thai market, but it's coming from a place of crisis in Myanmar.
Right. And it makes you wonder, is this a short-term thing, just a reaction to the immediate situation, or could this be a trend that sticks around for a while?
Especially since the experts are saying Thailand's real estate market is going to be slow to recover overall.
Yeah, it's a big question mark. And it also raises some important points about the bigger picture, like what does this mean for the future of both countries?
That's what I was thinking. I mean, this goes way beyond just buying and selling property. It's about people trying to build a new life for themselves.
Exactly. It's about survival, and it's about hope, too, in a way.
Yeah.
But it also makes you think about the people who are left behind, those who can't afford to make that move. It kind of highlights the inequalities that already exist.
Oh, for sure. And what about the impact on Thailand? Will this new influx of people change the social landscape in any way or put pressure on housing costs for locals? It's a lot to consider.
It's definitely a complicated situation with a lot of layers, but it's also a reminder that even in the midst of a crisis, there's this incredible resilience and drive that people have to find a better life.
It's amazing, really, and it's a story that's still unfolding, so it'll be interesting to see how things develop in both Myanmar and Thailand in the years to come. It's a good reminder to look beyond the headlines and see the human stories that are driving these global trends.
Couldn't agree more. It's these human stories that make these deep dives so fascinating.
Absolutely.